A few other quick things I did not get a chance to show you in the first video about how to use the Be Funky Collage editor are a couple functions such as order of objects, which if you continue on with digital illustration or any of the graphic design classes you'll learn more about, and some of the graphics. So I've got a nice border around my Merry Christmas orb here, and I'm going to show you real quick how to do that. I'm going to start with one of my shapes. And the border is simply a stroke. So whatever color I want that to be, I drag that there. There's a couple options. We'll get into those. That's how you add a border around it. Text is pretty straightforward. Now let's say I've added some text and I want it to go behind the present. And of course, I want to make this a color that's going to show up. So let's do green. And this is pretty limited compared to Photoshop, but it's what we've got right now. If for some reason I wanted to send this text behind, I would go to Options. And there's two buttons here. This is Move Backwards. This is Move Forwards. If I hit Moves Back, it goes behind the present. If I want it in front, I hit Move Forward. In fact, I don't like that text at all, so I'm going to get rid of it. This is important for when you're using your graphics or your basic shapes as well. If you want to create a slightly more complex shape, like I did with my little corner tabs, what you can do is you can copy it, shrink it down, and it gives you some nice guides to center things. Do another one right in there. And by using different colors and the eyedropper tool, I can get different shades and get different effects. Like I said, this really is a, Command Z also works on this for undo, or the undo and redo buttons are down here. This really is a simplified version of some of the functions you'll see in Photoshop and Illustrator. A couple other things, you can search for graphics, but it's a little bit limited. If you hit search graphics, it takes you here. Anything with a star, unfortunately, is premium, and we can't use it. So, like, I searched for Christmas. This is what was available for Christmas. So you may want to play around with creating your own things, but you can also do non-specific things like borders. Wow, we got one. Things like that. Patterns. You can add patterns to an object. Say I've got this ellipse right here, and I do not want it to be black. All I have to do is I go into here. Let's say I want polka dots. It looks like I have a choice of 2. Wow. Let's go into the winter one. Winter ones are better. If I drag and drop the pattern onto my object, it's behind. This is a good example of using the bring to front. And I'm going to hit that until that shows up. Clicking a bunch of times. Maybe it deleted. Oh, it's all the way back there, ladies and gents. You can't see it, but I'm moving it around. It's all the way back there. But that's how you add a pattern. Maybe I want to add one to this one. I think when you add patterns, it has a tendency to send them behind. Oh, that's kind of cool. And you would just have to hit bring to front a whole bunch. Maybe someday it'll show up. But that's how you go and add patterns to that stuff. I would do that before you add your pictures. Just in case you end up with that same shindig. You can, of course, rotate your graphics. I'm going to step back a few because I like my little swoosh. And that's pretty much it. Like I said before in the other video, there's not a whole lot in the way of layouts anymore. However, you can add more than 9 pictures if you so choose. If I go into my image manager and maybe I want something with hot chocolate. Say I want to add this. Go up to here, it should pop up in here. If I want more than 1 picture in a cell, didn't do what I wanted it to. If I want more than 1 picture in a cell, it should let me drop it right there. There we go. Now I have several. So really the 9x9 is just something you're starting with. You can always add more. But you have to make sure you don't go directly over top. Cool. And then I would save to my computer and upload it to my Google Drive. Whatever you do, don't give this thing permission to access your Google Drive. Cool? Cool.